Hey, 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 welcome to another episode of the Wealth Seed. Actually, it's episode 16. And listen, you're going to be blessed with two episodes this week. Why? Because last week we did not do an episode. We had to deal with some family things. Nothing crazy or nothing, no emergency or nothing like that. But just time needed to spend with some family. And so you're going to get two episodes this week. So today we are going to be talking about how do you know if something is a good investment. And this is actually going to be a two-part um, series, if you will, because today we're going to be focusing on how do you know if it's an investment good for you based on what you're trying to do. And then the next episode that we come and do later this week will be about the company or the thing that you're trying to invest in and how to do your best due diligence in vetting a company. Okay. So hopefully this will be of some help to you. Hopefully, for those of you who are kind of, antsy, a little leery, a little, whatever about investing, hopefully this will help, right? But before we get into our topic for today, we've got our crazy money story as usually. And let me introduce myself. My name is Lexi Johnson. I'm an international speaker. I am a financial coach, consultant. I am a best-selling author and so many other hats that doesn't even matter, right? So that's who I am. I'm glad you're joining me. If you're joining live or you're watching the replay, drop a comment. Let us know who you are, where you're watching from, because we always love to acknowledge those who are watching the stream, watching the broadcast. So let's get into today's crazy money story. It's a short one, going to be a very short one. And um, this one, I came across it. I was like, wow, this is crazy. I don't know if I've ever heard of anyone else anywhere in the world doing this, but here it is. And it's short and straightforward. So this takes place in Florida. Okay. And it was a man. And so, yes, if you've been following the Florida man crazy stories thing, this lands in those things because he's from Florida and he is a man. And it says that this man was using a Wells Fargo ATM. Okay, so we all know Wells Fargo is one of the big banks. And so he was using a Wells Fargo ATM, and the ATM machine gave him too much money by accident. Okay, and if that happens, wow, I don't know, right? But the ATM machine gave him too much money by accident. Now, most people may stand there a little bit shocked. I'm sure I like to think that most people are genuinely decent. They might go into the bank and say, hey, I got too much. Some people might walk with it. But this guy didn't do either of those things. Do you know what he did? What he did was he got into a fist fight with the ATM machine. Yep, you heard it. Okay. He got into a fist fight with the ATM machine because the ATM machine gave him too much money by accident. And shockingly enough, because if you are anything like I am, you might be asking, well, was he under the influence or, what's going on? Did he miss a pill that day? Listen, shockingly, he was not on drugs. He was not inebriated. He was just a little irritated. He was running late for work. And there you have it. And I'm like, even still, if you're running late for work, do you get into a fist fight with the machine because it gave you too much money? I don't know, but that's crazy. That is so crazy. I don't know. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. Hello, Apostle Juanita. Yeah, isn't that crazy? What the what is exactly right? I'm just like, of all the reactions that people could have if something like that happens, like some people may just stop and freeze, right? Trying to think about what they should do for a moment. And then they're going to decide, do I go into the bank or do I just go walk away, with this extra money? But this guy chose to have a fist fight with the machine. Go figure. Okay. So anyway, let's get on to How do I know if something is a good investment? How do I do my due diligence? And as I said, this is a part one of a two-part series. And so today we're talking about how do I know if this is a good investment based on what I am trying to do in my finances, right? So there are four things that I coach my clients to look for. Okay. Four things that I coach them to look for. Number one, and these aren't in any particular order, but number one, liquidity. Number two, safety. Number three, rate of return. And number four, what are the tax implications? Okay, tax implications. Now, these things are on a continuum. Okay, so, and as I begin to talk about them, you'll understand why I'm saying that. So, I'm going to repeat them really quickly and then we're going to go through each one and then we'll be out of here. Okay, so number one, liquidity. Number two, safety. Number three, rate of return. And number four, tax implications. Okay. All right. So let's talk about liquidity. When you are looking at an investment, somebody presents something to you to invest in. One of the things that you're going to look at is liquidity. Why are we looking at liquidity? Because based on whatever your financial goals are, you want to make sure that is this something that I can yield a return in time enough for whatever I'm trying to do, right? If it's a short-term goal, you're trying to, you're trying to get a return in a few months, a year, 2 years, right? You may be using a different vehicle, most likely, than something that you're like, this is long term. I'm not looking to, get anything out of this until about 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Okay. So you've got to look at liquidity. What does liquidity mean? Liquidity means the ability to be able to get the cash out of it. Okay. And how quickly are you able to do that? So the more liquid something is, that just simply means the easier it is for me to get my cash out of it. Okay. So let's look at something really simple, like putting your money in the bank. If you go put $50 in the bank today, you can get the $50 out of the bank later today, right? Very liquid. Okay. There are some investments, some you put money in today, you can get money out later today or tomorrow, very liquid. So I like to think of on this end things that are very, very liquid, like day trading, perhaps, depending upon the platform that you use, because there are some platforms will say, hey, you can't take money out of this for a certain period of time. So something that's not so liquid, retirement, qualified investment accounts, right? IRAs, 401ks. Now, truth of the matter is, you could actually, there are rules for 401ks specifically. You can take money out, but you're going to be taxed and you're going to be penalized. Okay. And then it takes, it's like a couple week process, 7 to 14 day process. There are some things, a lot of things will say, okay, you're not supposed to take it out for a period of time, but if you do, then you're going to have some type of fee associated with it, or some type of penalty fee associated with it, or some type of surrender charge associated with it, right? So you have those. And then you've got things like real estate, perhaps, which is not as liquid. Why? Because you can't really guarantee that something is going to sell in a week or 2 weeks, or, because it could go in 2 weeks, or it could go in 10 months, or it could go in 6 months, or it could take 3-4 years. Like, I know there, my husband and I are looking at properties and things all the time. And there are some properties literally that we've been looking at that have been on the market for like 3 years, still there, right? And then there are other things we get on and we look one day and then the next day it's gone, right? So liquidity is something that you want to look at when you're presented with an investment opportunity, okay? For what you're trying to raise money for, whatever the case may be, Are you going to need this money very soon? Are you going to need this money later? And whether you need it soon or whether you need it later, how easy it is it to withdraw the money? Are there penalties involved? All of that. Okay. So that's liquidity. The second thing that I teach my clients to look for is safety. Okay. Now, we all know, and I need to say this before I go any further, even though I'm not going to be mentioning any specific investments today, I don't think, but I do need to say this, that, hey, this information I'm sharing with you today is for informational purposes only. It is for educational purposes only. You should not construe any information that I'm giving to you as legal or tax, investment, financial, or other type of advice. Okay. Nothing contained in this episode is for solicitation, recommendation, endorsement, any of that, because I do not know your personal situation. So you're not going to be coming back and saying, Lexi said to go invest in this and this would do this for me. I don't know who's watching this, right? I do not know your situation. All of this is for educational purposes only. Okay. If you would like to get on my calendar and talk about your own particular situation, then you can do that. And I believe in the description, there's a way to contact me there. All right. So let me get back to that. I needed to make sure I said that. Anyway. All right. Anyway. All right. So the second thing is safety. Now, understand that when you invest, no one can truly guarantee you 100% safety. Okay. You can minimize risk. You can take calculated risk. You can diversify. Okay. Again, to minimize your risk. You can look at past performance, how something has performed over time to kind of get an idea of how risky it may or may not be. But what you cannot do, or what someone cannot say to you is, oh, we have been providing returns on average of 8% over the past 10 years, and we guarantee over the next 10 years that it will do this. Nobody should ever guarantee, okay, rates of return in that manner. Okay. Now, there are some investments that may have some type of like guaranteed floor guarantee, but then those things are a little bit different. Sometimes they're not necessarily investments. Okay. They may track the market, but they're not investments. They're still considered like savings. So just understand that when you are investing, there's always risk. Okay. And so you have to determine what risk you can tolerate. And for the time period that you are going to be invested, if it's for the short term, if it's for the long term, and what can I tolerate? Okay. So when we talk about safety, we are talking about the safety of your principal, the money that I put in. Is it subject to be lost? Okay. Which in a lot of investing, it can be. So this is why I always say, when you're investing, to make sure that it's not money that you need for your mortgage, for your light bill, for baby's tuition. That's not what you want to, that's not the money that you want to be using for investing. Okay. If you are a client of mine, a coaching client of mine, then you know that you set up one of your storehouses that contains what we call an opportunity fund. And those are the monies that you use for investment opportunities. And they are monies that are not emergency fund. They're monies that's not from retirement. They're not monies from day-to-day bills. None of that. Okay. All right. So you want to assess what's the safety of the principal, the level of safety. What's the level of safety for new principal? New principal means if you, let's say you put in $1,000 to something and then you decide every month you're putting in $500. That $500 every month is new principal. Okay. So what's the safety of that? And then what's the safety of your growth, your gains, and all of those things? So again, this is a continuum. You've got some that are kind of low level to very high risk. Okay. And so again, it's going to depend upon what is your tolerance? What is your tolerance level? Can you tolerate a lot of risk? And the time frame. Okay. If you need the money in the next 6 months, you're probably not wanting to put it in something that's super risky. Okay. So that's something else that you want to look at. Okay. Safety of the investment, understanding that when you invest, the, the, there is a level of risk at all times. Okay. Now, you don't have to go out there and just be careless, right? Oh, I'm just gonna I got $2,000. I don't need it, and I'm just gonna go throw it away, right? Like, you don't have to be like that. That's why we say you take calculated risk. Okay, you do your due diligence, and then invest to the best of your knowledge with the information that you have. Okay. All right. The other thing that I have my clients look at is the rate of return. Okay. So, depending upon, again, what you're going to be using these funds for, when you need it, all of those kinds of things, the rate of return kind of matters. Okay. And this is why we say, hey, just leaving your money in the bank is a safe loss. Why? Because the rate of return at a bank is really, I mean, talk about slim to none. That saying, slim to none, it really is slim to none, right? So you can put your money in the bank and it may be there. You may put 10,000 in today, and then 10,000 may be there 10 years from now if you don't touch it. But that 10,000 is not going to spend today like it did yesterday, right? Yesterday, eggs cost, a carton of eggs cost $1. Today, a carton of eggs costs about $5, right? So understanding that, right? So looking at rate of return, is it something that will help me to hedge against inflation or keep up with inflation or do better than inflation? What am I trying to accomplish and in what time frame, right? If I have a shorter time frame to get it done, I may be trying to look at how I can get higher rates of return, maybe double-digit returns. If I've got a longer time, maybe I'm okay with less, with less returns. But rate of return is very important if you're trying to use an investment for income. Okay. Like, I need the money now. I'm investing and I need some income out of this. Well, then you don't want something that's like 0.1%, right? You're not going to get anything out. You're not going to get diddly squat out of that, right? And then also knowing and understanding that typically, the longer you're willing to leave something in an investment, and we're talking about your more traditional investments, then the higher the rate of return. Okay. The shorter that you want to pull something out, or if you want something that's really liquid, then the lower the rate of return. That's in your more traditional types of investments. Okay. But when you get into things like day trading or something else, it's a different ball game. Okay. It's a different ball game. You could actually get you can get low or high rates of return, just depending. Okay. So anyway, rate of return, it's important to understand that, and whether or not it's keeping up with inflation, if you needed to, whatever the case may be, right? Then one of the other things that I have my coaching clients look at is tax implications. Okay. You've got investment vehicles that you can use that are pre-tax. You got investment vehicles that you can use that are after tax. You've got indexing vehicles or things that you can use that are no tax. Okay. And you're like, no tax. Yeah. Listen, one day we'll talk about it. Anyway, so you want to understand how that works. 401ks, Traditional IRAs, those things may go in pre-tax, but what does that mean? Sure, it's tax deferred, meaning you can enjoy it going, all your money going in there now and not being taxed. But when it's time to take the money out, it's going to be taxed. Okay. And so for a time, and some still say that that's good because, when you get older and you get ready to, when you're retired or whatever, then it's less tax. But not so much the case, I think, anymore. I think many people are going into the workforce. Then they begin to take out of their retirement when they're 59 and a half, but their tax bracket is higher at that time. And so you're getting taxed on it more than you would have if you had the tax taken out up front. So you got to look at those things, right? A Roth IRA is after tax money. So it's already been taxed. We're talking about your principal, what you put in, the money you start with. It's already been taxed. So it's not going to be taxed again, but you will be taxed on growth, right? Because that money's never been taxed before. All right. And then, like I said, yes, you do have some vehicles that are not necessarily investments per se. They are alternatives to retirement where you can enjoy no taxes if you do it correct, if you understand what needs to be done and is done correctly, right? So those are the things that I have my coaching clients look at. I hope that that's helpful for you. My clients get a complete rubric that they get to look at investments. We look at investments together, and we go through them, right? And they have to talk to me and tell me what they think about each of these 4 things as it relates to that investment, where they would rate it on that rubric. And then at the end, after going through all of those things, they have to tell me if it's something that they would invest in or not, why or why not. And it has to be in relation to what their goals are, their short-term and their long-term goals are. And so my clients find that really, really fun that we are together looking at real-time investment opportunities. And, they have this instrument that they can use to help them make a good decision about investing. So if you are interested in personal finance coaching, get in touch with me, okay, at the Lexi Johnson on all social media, at the Lexi Johnson. Get in touch with me, and I can send you the link. You can get on my calendar, and we can talk about whether or not private financial coaching is something that we can do together, right? That would be mutually beneficial for us. And so hope that has been helpful for you all. Nonetheless, you have enough, right, to look at some, things. And so that's that, right? So now let me share with you. Thank you, Apostle. Thank you for that. Let me share with you what's coming up. Okay. Let me share with you what's coming up. For those of you who are in my Money Mastery for Her group and you are on the email list, today, this evening, you're going to be getting an email because Money Mastery for Her has made some pivots, and we're so excited about it. And we're getting ready to officially announce them in that email tonight. You're going to hear it first. So hopefully you're on the email list. If not, you better drop your email in my inbox so I can get you on that list, right? Because they're going to hear first opportunities that they can take advantage of and be a part of before everyone else. And I'm going to tell you all, like I just mentioned, the private coaching, right? Like I have a certain number of slots, and I'm already private coaching some people. And this just started, okay? But that's because these people are closely working with me. They call me or whatever. And so I may just say with them, hey, this is what's going on. And they're already in. So some of them slots are already gone. Okay. So anyway, be looking for that email. All right. 2, we have the Wealth Empowerment Retreat that is coming up December 10th. And some of you, you've commented on my posts and you need to get your ticket. You need to be there. Get your ticket. What you waiting on? Okay. Get the ticket. You told me you needed to be there. So get your ticket and get in the room. The visionary of the Wealth Empowerment Retreat is none other than the infamous Apostle Juanita Corey Jackson herself. And she's going to be giving you all the lowdown, some real secrets in real estate, right? Some stuff that wealthy people know. And so if you want to be part of the wealthy, you need to get that stuff. You need to know it. You need to get in there, get the information so that in 2023 you can shoot out the gate and get your real estate investment game going on, right? And we got Minister Hope, who's going to be coming and bringing all of her amazing knowledge. So you don't want to miss what she has to say. I'm going to be there as well. And so get your ticket. Okay. Get your ticket. If you have been saying to yourself that in 2023, you really want to make some moves as it relates to investing, as it relates to growing your money, as it relates to, hey, changing the face of wealth. I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but anyway, if that's you, then you want to get your ticket. Okay. The link is in the description. Apostle, if you're still here, feel free to drop the link in the comments. Get your ticket and get in the room. Okay. That's what's coming up. What else is coming up? Oh Lord, I'm fumbling all over my words. But anyway, our missions arm, okay, our humanitarian arm. We have a call for missionaries going on right now. We completed an amazing trip to Ghana this past summer. Next year, we are going to Kenya, specifically Kitale and Mombasa. And I want you to be there. Why? Why do I want you to be there? You're like, I'm not a missionary. I never even thought about being a missionary. Listen, consider it. Okay. Here, let me tell you what happens every time I take a team. I have people who come back saying now they know and understand their purpose. Now they have new energy. They're really creative about what it is they want to come back and do here. Some of them have been motivated to continue to do things overseas. Some have kickstarted their speaking careers because they have participated in a Money Mastery for Her missionary trip. Okay. And when I say speaking career, I mean international speaking career. Okay. So there are a lot of things that you can get out of participating in our missionary trips. But the most important thing that I believe that you get out of this trip is drawing closer to God, letting him speak to you over that course of time about your purpose, your call, your mission, and then being able to live your life a little differently, a little bit more along that vein when you return to the States. So you want to make sure that you get involved. I think the link is in there for that. If it's not in the description, I'll make sure to drop it in the chat. We have 5 slots left of the 15. Okay, 5 slots, and we haven't even really done much marketing. Okay, so 5 slots left of the 15. Don't be left out. Be a part of that trip. I want you to be a part of that trip. Let's go serve together, help people, the people of Kenya. We're going to be doing a couple of amazing projects there. We're going to be helping an area to get fresh water that is not currently getting fresh water. So we're going to be helping to fund the infrastructure for that. And then we're going to be doing some things with youth and helping them to have school supplies and some other things. So it's going to be a great time. It's going to be great work. And if you've never done mission work before, don't worry, because Money Mastery for Her has an excellent missionary training program, and you're going to be well prepared to go overseas. All right. So that's that. What else is going on? So many other things are going on. Pay attention to your email in the next week or so. We're going to be starting a Bible study on forgiveness. Okay. So pay attention. Just keep your eyes open for all that's going on. But for right now, go get your ticket to the Wealth Empowerment Retreat. All right. Love you guys. I will see you next time on the Wealth Seed, where we're here changing the face of wealth. See you guys next time.